Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am out here this afternoon in the garage to begin the process of an engine swap. My last two videos took the engine out of here, this 96 GTX, and then we dismantled it. It's still up here on my bench. And I've got a 97 XP that I'm going to pull the engine and stick it in the GTX. I'm just kind of staging them under the lights. My garage doesn't have the best of lighting. Anyway, if you wonder why I'm going to pull the engine out of here and put it into this engine, I did, this is not my ski. I did offer the owner of this ski to this one, but he's got grandkids and this has more seating, and so he's had this ski for years, and so he wanted to keep this one. So that's why, or the reason for the engine swap. And I have never removed an engine from this type of hole. So this will be my first time with this one. Everything I've removed up to date has been like a center engine where it sits right under the seat. This one sits up in the front of the ski. So it looks like it's bigger around. So it looks like I have more room. Sometimes looks are deceiving, but anyway, we're going to get started on this thing, taking this engine out step by step. If this is something that interests you and hang around, maybe you have a XP that you need to take the engine out of and kind of need some motivation to get started. Well, here it is. We're going to pull this out. I don't know if this is going to be one video or two, depends on how quickly I can get this out and get it into this ski over here. So, all right, like I said, if you're interested, hang around and join me, and let's get this ski out, this engine out. All right, so I've already kind of got started, but just barely. So let me just show you what I did in case you need to see everything. I just took the top of the airbox off here, and you've got these little locks here, and if they pop off, you didn't break anything. You can pull them all completely off, or you can leave them on there, but you just break those loose. There's 6 of them, and you take the top right off, which is sitting right here. And then I went ahead, you have 6 bolts, and you can see these, I've already taken them out. I've got them in my hand here and took those out. So we're kind of just doing it real quick here to get to the carb. So the first thing I'm going to do with this ski is I'm going to take the carb out. I don't know how much, and when you take those 6 bolts out, you get the bottom half of the airbox and bracket here, so just keep them all together. And then you got the flame arrestor here that you'll need to pry out, and there's going to be 4 bolts under there to take out, and then we're going to take out these 2, and we'll have the top of this carburetor off. So let me real quick, just if I can't, got it pretty good here. So got it with my fingernail. I'm going to clean this out really good. You can see it's pretty dirty. And so let me hold you down in here. There's probably 4 bolts. Am I right? Can you even see? Like I said, I don't have good lighting in this garage. So anyway, we're going to get those bolts out. We're going to get these 2 up at the top, and then we'll have this top bracket off and move right to the carburetor. All right, so I've got you right over the top of me. We're going to see how this works. Now let's see what I've got. I've got an Allen key here. Trying to see what size for you. It's a 5 mil Allen key, I believe, to get these out of here. All right, top bracket of the carburetor is off. Just keeping all those together. Now we move down to the carburetor. So we're going to take these, I hope my big head is not blocking you. So we're going to take off the cables. We have the choke cable, and we probably don't have the oil cable since this had become, they'd blocked off the oil pump. So probably just have the throttle cable and the choke cable here. So it's a 10 mil probably, and we'll need a 16 Allen key to unhook that choke cable. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and loosen the that should get it. One turn should get it, yeah. All right, so let's loosen that. That is a 1/16, as I mentioned. And now I need to get a 10. All right, so I got a couple of 10 wrenches, and again, I hope I am not in the way here of you being able to see. And I only undo the inside. I use this. This keeps me, make sure when I put it in, and this is against the bracket, when I put it back, that's where it was, that the setting stays the same. Never run this engine, so I'm going to assume that it's correct. And we're going to slide this out, and let me screw this nut, get it started so that we don't lose that in the washer. All right, that one is down. All right, so now I've got to go across here. I'm working blind, but I'm going to go ahead and screw in again this nut back on. Oops, man, I'm adjusting the wrong thing. So let's screw this back in. And disconnect this from the cable. Okay, so cables are off now. So let's pop this carb off here. I believe we've got the fuel lines and stuff, but I may go ahead and just pop the carb off and then pull the fuel lines off. We'll see. It may be easier to do it because I don't know how tight these fuel lines are on here, so I may be some tugging on this thing. So I'll leave it bolted in and let's get the fuel lines off. All right, so I don't know how long these lines have been on here. They're not the original lines, but there we go, that did it. That's all. I guess I just needed a tool to get it off. All right, so now let's break this carb loose, get these out of here. Let me. I've got one. Forgot about the pump line. So let's see what the easiest. It's got a Oetiker clamp at the top, and looks like we've got our regular clamp at the bottom. So I'm going to pull it from the engine. Yeah, we got it. And you can, I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm literally peeling it off. And yeah, I took off the lines, but I didn't take off the return fuel line. Right here. All right, carb is out of here. I don't think I'm going to be putting this carb back with this engine, because on the 787 that I removed from the 96 over there, I just rebuilt the carbs, and these are the same. So these will go on. Hopefully I can rebuild the engine using the parts from that 96, and this will be a part of that engine. Okay, so this is where gets a little different. What I normally do with the mid-engine is I disconnect the shaft. I've taken the screw out of the shaft cover here. In your ski, it may be, this is metal, most times they're plastic. And the ones I have on my skis used a little plastic butterfly nut. These actually had 13 mil bolts here holding it into the brace. So anyway, did that earlier. So we have a coupler back here, and so it's different. So my hope is I can unbolt this engine and slide it forward and break it loose from the coupler there. I don't know. I have not done this engine before, so I'm just going by what it looks like maybe we could do. So the mount bolts are there, one on each side, and I've got one up here at the front, 3 to undo. And maybe I undo these 2 and the one up front. Can we pull this engine forward and break it loose? So I'm going to cut these off to give myself more room. I'm going to cut these hoses out here. All right, get those out of the way. That frees us up some space up here to maybe slide this engine forward. So, all right, I don't remember, maybe a 13 mil, a 13. So let's see if this fits it. That's it. So let's break these loose. All right, got the washer on this one. So now we got the one up front. All right, let me go ahead and unplug the power cord to the stator. All right, so what do you think? If I get a ratchet strap under this, am I going to be able to, well, I don't know. I might have to remove, so you probably can't see it from the camera up here because it's directly under this pipe, but I may have to remove the engine mount, and that's probably what I have to do. The engine mount is probably 3 to 4 inches tall to meet up with the engine mount up here, and what I would have to do is I would have to raise the front of this engine up and go up. That would not work with that coupler connected in the back. So all this is just, I'm assuming, so what I may do is try to remove the engine mount from the hull and see if then I can just pull this engine forward and, lift it out of here. I've just got, water hoses to oil lines, probably just 2 oil lines and 3 water lines, I believe, to disconnect and possibly get this out of here. So I'm going to try this, taking out the engine mount itself. Maybe this will work. Okay. That worked. 1/2 of the mount, and this is not going to work over there. I'm just going to use the regular ratchet. Bolt number 2 out on the engine mount, and I don't know if there's another one, so let's. All right, engine mount is out. Still don't know if that's going to work, but we're going to try it. So what I've got over here again is right down here. I may get my GoPro and stick it down here so that you can see sort of what we have left to take off. So right down there I took out the engine mount that was connected to the hull. As you see, I've got, it looks like 2 shims, so we've got to remember that later. And right down here is the starter, so I'm going to have the power cable to the starter to remove here. Trying to get this to where. Okay, so here's what we've got left to take care of. So we've got the oil line here to get my camera pointed right. Got to remove the oil line. Directly under that oil line, if you can see, is the power cable to the starter, and then just underneath that starter right here is the ground wire. And so I've got to get these 3 on this side disconnected, and then over here on the other side, of the back side of this engine, is I'm going to have another oil line and a water line to remove from the back over there. And then of course the water lines right here on the top of the engine. But first, I don't know if I'm physically going to be able to, I may have blocks. This may be blocking me down here. It looks like I can slide it right off the engine mounts there, talking about the engine itself, and maybe slide this thing forward. So let's try that. All right, so here we go. Let's see if we can pull this engine and separate it from the coupler back there, and then unbolt the rest of it here. I don't know if I'm going to have enough leverage to do this. Well, I moved the whole ski, probably moved you. All right, so it felt like something was holding me back, So it could be these water lines. So let's get these off. They should be loose because I've already kind of loosened them. So I should be able to, I thought, to be able to pull them off, and I'm not. So let me loosen them some more. Okay. You know what was holding this engine back? Probably that connection on the pipe down there. That's probably what's holding me back, nothing else on this engine. So if I could break this engine or this pipe loose from that back there, then I'm probably going to be good to go. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take off the oil line. I'm going to take off the power to the starter and the ground wire to the starter, and we'll at least be done with this side, and then we'll move on to that side and just see where we are. If we have to, I was just trying to avoid taking this off here, and I can remove this whole pipe, and so I can probably just undo it from here if I can get to 2 bolts that are down there that holds the bottom of the pipe to the engine. So we'll see. I had the same issue trying to get engine out of the 96 GTX. Okay, so I stopped. And it's pretty warm out today, so I stopped, got something to drink, a little something to eat, and I came back out here and decided to give it one more tug, and look at there, we got it. Broke it loose from the back of that pipe down there, the couplers you can see. So, and then I also, before I even gave this a tug, disconnected the starter power cable. That was a 10 mil, and then I took off the ground wire, was a 13 mil, just under here with the starter as well, and then pulled off the oil line. And of course, since the oil has been disconnected, I mean, there was nothing, I didn't have to plug this line. So I'm still interested, as I get in here and get this engine out, how they have oiled the rotary valve. So anyway, so we are close now. All that's left is, of course, I've got to remove the sensor, I've got to remove the spark plug wires. I got 2 lines here that I've already marked with yellow and green. And then on the back of this engine here, I've got water line and an additional oil line to undo. And I'm wondering, now I'm not going to say it, we're going to get the engine out of here and then we'll check on some stuff. So let me, I guess, maybe get you back on top. We'll take the rest of these lines off, see if we can lean this engine up and get to the back of it, and get the rest of it off and get this engine out of here. All right, so let's get these spark plugs. I think I'm going to leave those in here. I've already taken off the clamps on here, so we just need to pull these off. Oh, come on. Let's make this. Here we go. And let's see if get this sensor off. All right, so now all we have to do is get to the back of this engine. Easier said than done. So let's see what I can do here. I've got a bolt here that's holding this pipe right here, and then one that's right down in here. I don't know if I can even get to the water line and the oil line that's back here. I don't know if I can get to it with this pipe on. So I've never had this, I'll just say this opportunity to even try it. Let me go around the other side and let's see. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to take this pipe off here. So let's see what I need to break those loose. 6, back to the 6. Here we go. All right, so let me get this. I think this is a 13. That seems to be the number we are using a lot. All right, here we are. Let's see if we've got enough clearance. I was able to, let me get this bolt here that I wasn't able to get earlier on the pipe. I had to go ahead and cut the oil line and get the water line off the T, and then the pipe broke loose and I was able to pull it right off. So anyway, I think, and I'm hoping now we've got enough room to lift this out of here. What was that? No. Did you see what that was hung on? It was the oil line, but I think it was just, I'll have to look at the video on that, but scared me. I thought my strap broke loose and I was about to drop this engine. All right. We are out. Let me see what you're picking up. I guess you're picking up most of it there. So let's get this ski out of the way, because now it is bath time for this engine. All right, so the engine is out, and there's something I want to show you real quick that I noticed. But look at the top of the head, the bolts. I don't think this thing has been opened up maybe more than once. There's a lot of paint on here, and it's pretty much that way. If you take a look at all the bolts that are in here, can you see where it looks like they've never had an Allen key in that thing? And over here on the stator, I've got one, but I could have just done this on the corner, but look at the stator bolts. Look like they have not had a wrench on them. So this engine looks like, I would say it's got very low hours. It has 150 pound, 150 PSI in each cylinder. The only thing is you can see what they did with the oil line here, but I don't understand what they did with the oil line there. I did not see that as it went around the engine. This oil line that's just hanging was not connected to anything. It was just hanging out in the bottom of the engine. So anyway, we're gonna get this thing out onto the driveway, douse it with some degreaser and cleaner, and we're gonna clean it up before we get it over here into the GTX. As you could probably see, I did put some rags in the carb ports there, but I've went ahead and sprayed it down with some oil. And then also the pump port, I should have covered that up, the pump nipple there. And so I hosed that down and inside it with some Seadoo oil. So we should be good to go. The engine looks great now. All right, so before I sign off on this video real quick, this is ready to go. I did during the week clean this out, but man, this is the first time I'm looking at it. I did not seal off those oil lines with bolts good enough, but I've only got a small puddle as opposed to a big mess that this all was in there. So I gave it a good bath. Now I've just got to clean that little bit out, and this engine will be ready to go in. So all right guys, I appreciate you joining me as usual, and we will catch you on the next video of getting that engine into this ski and back on the water. All right guys, appreciate it. Thanks.